I think people between 30 and 55 really determine the direction that our society's going in. So this is kind of my first chance to really be involved in what I would say is an appropriate time in my life. And it is important. We have to be involved. We can't just sit on the sidelines and wait for things to resolve in whatever way they're going to resolve.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch, brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. And we welcome to the porch as City Council candidate, Christein Ellis. Welcome, Christein.
Hey, thanks, Brian. It's a great pleasure to be here.
Let's clear it up. Christein or CK? Because people might see CK on the ballot. I don't know how they're going to print that. So you're not two different people.
It would be Christein on the ballot.
Yeah.
CK is a good nickname for me.
That's what you've been known for most of your life? Nickname?
It depends. Like my close friends and family have always called me CK. It was my dad's nickname for me, so it just depends. Sometimes it's easier to yell CK than Christein.
Okay, when you're in trouble, eh?
That's right.
Yeah, I know that. When you heard the middle name used, look out.
You better be standing straight and looking at him.
Yeah. Your button says "Vote Ellis, faith in the future."
Yeah.
Is that what you're hoping to bring?
Yeah, I want to bring faith in the future. I think right now we've been dealing with a lot of hardship, particularly in the last, let's say, 5 years. I know my generation and the generations beneath me feel a great deal of despair and existential dread about their futures. There's a lot of us accepting that we're always going to live in apartments and we're never going to be able to afford to have families. And I think a lot of people are looking for real purpose and not finding it. So this is part of why I'm saying faith in the future. We need to have faith that things can get better, because without it, we can't have the hope, the strength, and the resolve, or the courage that we need to actually set things straight to make a better future for ourselves. Because if you don't have hope, you can fall into nihilism very easy. And I think nihilism is a sickness that's been taking over a lot of minds. So that's why I say faith in the future. We have to believe things can get better, or else we just won't be able to have the strength to do it.
But a lot of younger people stand back. I don't care about politics. I don't follow it. I don't want to know anything about it. But yet you stepped into the fire. Why?
Because I saw that. I felt it for myself too, that apathy towards trying to be involved, going unheard, and not having your world understood. Because we've inherited a world that is completely different than other generations. And I'll be one of the last people to remember life before the internet. Mm-hmm. So... And that's why it's important for someone. I'm 32, and it's time for my generation to step up and step into the role. I think people between 30 and 55 really determine the direction that our society's going in. So this is kind of my first chance to really be involved in what I would say is an appropriate time in my life. And it is important. We have to be involved. We can't just sit on the sidelines and wait for things to resolve in whatever way they're going to resolve.
Do you think that your candidacy will bring some younger voters to the ballot box?
I sure hope so.
Yeah, because that's always been a problem, that young people don't take part in the democratic process.
Well, I think I have the willingness to actually have the real conversation that we're having in our souls. And I think that's going to give encouragement to the younger people that, hey, it doesn't always have to be the same thing. There is a change on the way, and we need to be a part of it. Absolutely need to be at the center of it.
What's your life experience been to this point in your life? What have you done?
So I started King Bagel downtown. For 4 years before that, I was doing Red Hen baking as well, but King Bagel was kind of the evolution of that. And then I also worked at B Youth as a counselor, so I have experience with at-risk youth. I've done musical therapy for seniors with dementia. And then as well as that, before that, I got an audio engineering degree. And I managed a music studio in Kelowna for about a year. So one of the things in my life experience is that I think from the youth all the way to the seniors, I've had meaningful connections, and it gives me an ability to have a deep understanding of where everybody's coming from. Right now I work as an arborist, so also the blue-collar lifestyle, that's something I understand. And it's part of what's made me run is when you talk to each group of people that are living their lives, everybody has different issues, but they're mostly similar. And I think that everybody needs a voice because a lot of people don't want to be involved. It is stressful to be under public scrutiny all the time. But I'm willing to take that on if it means that I can be a voice for the people in my life and the people in this community.
So are you from Medicine Hat, or did you move here?
No, I'm from Medicine Hat. My family actually immigrated here in 1901-ish for the natural gas boom. Yeah. So my family's been here for a very long time. I actually have, we had 3 different houses in the Saratoga Park.
Yes.
Yes. So we know all about that too. I'm Métis myself, but yeah, deep roots here.
Yeah. I did a Our Town little historical vignette on Saratoga Park, and breaks my heart to think about that community that was there, very vibrant, but yet it was shunned by a large part of our city. Very, very heartbreaking to do the story. And I've got it on my to-do list that I want to do a documentary on Saratoga Park, so maybe we'll connect on that.
You know, you should talk to my gran. My gran lived in Saratoga Park, and she didn't speak English until she was 6. She only spoke Cree until she was 6. She was hunting pheasants and doing the whole thing herself. And we actually just had a little family reunion down in Saratoga Park, so we could all kind of celebrate, right? Like, hey, look where we've come from there. Like, we managed. The cards were stacked against us, and here we're still standing today strong.
Seeds have sprouted.
Yes, sir.
Do you think you're a person who can build relationships?
Absolutely. I think it's one of my greatest strengths.
So that would be a necessary skill that you would bring to council.
Absolutely.
Is there a single issue that sort of pushed you into the race?
Yeah. Well, I've been in and out of the politics municipally since I tried to recreate the CCDA in 2022. It didn't really end up working out. I couldn't find a level with council, so I moved on from it. But I'm watching my friends and my family start to have their kids, and I'm watching the way that they're struggling. And I just, growing up, we didn't have the same struggles. We weren't facing the same problems. So it's something where I want to be able to step in and speak for them because they're busy. There's a lot of young families that don't got time to be coming and trying to change policies and governance. Right now, I don't have kids of my own, so it's a good opportunity for me to be that voice, for me to stand up and say, hey, we need this, we need that, like whatever it is, right? The affordability is out of hand. You shouldn't have to rely on federal tax incentives to be able to own a home and have children when you've been in your industry for over a decade. It's just a new thing that we need to find a way to deal with.
Affordable housing would be something you'd be interested in?
Oh, yeah. Affordable housing, stabilizing utility rates. Right now, the energy business needs some attention. We need to make some big decisions. I actually think in the next 4 years, we're at a make or break point. We have to decide what kind of city we're going to be. And my biggest concern is that in the 2030s, people my age and younger are just going to have to leave because there's no way for us to actually be able to sustain a regular lifestyle here.
Yeah, one of the other candidates, Jay Hitch, and that was something he mentioned during one of the forums, was that he watched his 2 children have to leave Medicine Hat because there was no opportunity for them here. I'm fortunate 2 of my 3 children still live in Medicine Hat, but my oldest had to seek her fortune somewhere else. And we need something to keep our children here, to build our community for the future. So that's where you can supply the leadership.
Yeah, I definitely think that we need to develop new industry in town. We also, last year, the vacancy rate in town was 2.3%. At times it was at as low as 0.1%. So we have to be able to find a way to work with developers and make their lives easier to help builders get their projects off the ground. Because when you have a vacancy rate that low, there's no way to have competitive pricing on housing, whether it's owning houses or renting. These are problems that we need to address directly.
Was it you that brought up the idea from Hamilton in one of the forums where they have rules,
No.
bylaws? Somebody did, and it seemed to be, I heard the murmuring among the people that they thought it was a good idea, where you actually have a bylaw that sets out the responsibilities for landlords in that, you know, if you have a problem, this is what you have to do. And it set some rules, and it seemed to be something that the light bulb went on for a few people. So that could be something you could think about if you're elected on the 20th. You mentioned the challenges in the energy division.
Mm-hmm.
MCC is three letters that have been
Three
kicked
big
around
letters,
a lot. Municipally controlled corporation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that you would have the knowledge to be able to guide the utilities going forward, or would you like to see it moved over?
No. I think right now this isn't the time to consider doing the MCC. A lot of people thought we were selling the energy business, but that just wasn't the case. We were deciding if we were going to have a secondary board that was going to govern it. And while they would set rates, council was still going to approve them. But I don't think right now we could offer the salaries necessary to attract the talent to do that job properly. And right now we're having a big struggle between administration and council to begin with. I think adding a third body into that situation is just not going to work out. I think right now, if you want to be on council, you have to be willing to take on the energy business. And let's say in 4 years, everything's peachy keen. We're all doing good again. Maybe this is the time to talk about doing an MCC. In Red Deer, it seems like it's worked out for them. They've done a similar project. But right now, it just isn't the time. I don't think it would be the right decision.
Looking to the future, which is part of your button there,
Yeah.
Samus Solar Project, renewable energy. Yes or no?
Samus is tricky. At the start of my campaign, I was really pro Samus, but as we've been going through, you're starting to realize some of the challenges that are presented. I do think that solar is going to be a big part of the energy future, and we need to get into it, but this project has been mismanaged, to say the least. And I think if you're going to be doing it, I actually would have loved if DP would have stayed in control of the project and we could have just collected property tax from them and they could have helped supplement our grid. That would have been great. But going forward with the Samus Solar Project, if we need to get power purchase agreements in order, we need to get investors, we need to find out what we're doing with it before we go ahead and spend. I actually think that we could set it up so it's not a hit to the taxpayer at all, but there's a few if, ands, or buts involved. So that's about what I'd say. I am pro solar, but right now the Samus Solar Project needs a better plan.
Building for the future also includes recreational facilities, and the Southside Recreation Center is one of the projects that is on the horizon right now. Would you be in favor of that?
I don't think this is the time for niceties, and I would consider a rec center to be a nicety. I understand that the South End needs a rec center or something of that nature, but right now we're not even hitting our membership goals at the leisure center in town. And here's the reality of it too. If you're going to build this rec center, people have to have the money to be able to attend it anyways. We have to address the big issues first, and later down the road, there will be a time when we come back to that subject and it makes sense. But right now for me, it's not even top 5 of my priorities.
So affordability is, I think, maybe at the top of your list.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how do we make life more affordable for people?
Well, there's a few things that we can do. And I was coming back to generating industry, and I think using our energy as an incentive to attract agriculture in particular, because if we can sustain our food supply in city, that'll go a long way. Aerospace, I think, would be interesting. People talk about data centers, and there's something to that too, but we need to be attracting industry that will create sustainable jobs for families. That's one thing that we could be doing. I think that we're looking at a place like Avenue Living, like a company like Avenue Living, where I think you could make an argument it's nearing a monopoly in town. I would like to see an advocate group from the city going to the province and asking for rent caps again. Because this is the reality too. I was just at a friend's my house. His name's Bikram, and he lives on the Simpson Apartments, just on the other side of the college overpass.
Oh, Southgate.
Southgate, yeah. So he took me into his place, and he's paying $1,400 a month, and the floor squeak because there's water damage, and none of the air is working properly, and the fire. Like the smoke alarms aren't even properly attached. Like, I don't understand how we can be giving so much money to rent and we're not looking after the properties to begin with. So coming back to, you're talking about the Hamilton project where you're forcing these landowners to have responsibility over their buildings. That would be another huge step to actually finding affordability.
We used to have a rent and control board here, landlord, tenant, whatever you wanted to call it, and that just sort of seemed to die and go away. So I'm not sure if you're an advocate of a lot of government control or interference in private investment, but that's how some would view that.
Yeah. I am a fan of less government when it's available, because I think people, if you give people the tools they need to build life, they will do it. You don't need to control every single decision, but right now we're facing something unprecedented. And right now it is the responsibility of the municipal government, provincial government, federal government to say, hey, we have to put an end to this. There has to be a way that we can actually help people live affordably, because I don't think that we can trust some of the land developers right now. As far as like the apartment complexes go, I'm not going to say broadly like every single builder is in that situation, but this is the problem. When there's a competitive market, it'll take care of itself. When it's not a competitive market, something needs to be done.
There are people we see who can't afford a place to live, and they're living in encampments. Some of our city parks now have become their temporary homes. It leads us into the mustard seed and the political football that has become. If you were on city council, how would you handle it?
Well, this is my big dream, and I don't think a municipal government has the power to do this, but to have a program where you're not only helping people get back into housing, but you're helping them learn skills to get back into the job force. My mom works as a psychiatric nurse. She's worked outreach, and one of the biggest reasons why people stay on the streets is because they can't escape their environment, and they have to keep going back no matter what it is. Whether it's because of just the life circumstance they're in, or a drug addiction has come into play. So realistically, having programs where you can help people get back into the swing of life would be the best way to help the homeless community recover. And again, if you can have affordable housing, the homeless community will go down anyways, because they can actually afford to be somewhere.
What have you been hearing on the doorsteps? What have been people been telling you about what they want you to do if you're elected?
Oh yeah, the biggest thing is affordability. People want to be able to live life without questioning, am I paying rent or am I eating this week? Mm-hmm. And that's the absolute number one question. And this is, again, it's a multi-tiered system here where it is the municipality, the province, and the federal government. Some of the issues are federal issues that we can't really, we can advocate as much as we like, but we're not the prime minister. We can't go ahead and make some of those changes. But that's absolutely the biggest thing I've been hearing is just affordability of life and standard of living. Because I think a lot of people are missing out on the joy of life right now. And it's something I'd like to see change. Becomes drudgery. Yeah. And it leads to people being quite bitter. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things I've been surprised about being back in I took kind of like a year break from the community just for myself. I left the business. I had to kind of resort out, what are my priorities in life? And when I came back, I am completely surprised by how radical people are becoming on one side or the other. And a lot of that has to do that we've given up proper discourse with each other, and conversations have been stopping. And some of that might be that we just can't afford to be out in the community the same way that we used to be. People just aren't interacting the same anymore.
Like they used to on the porch.
Yep. Exactly.
Talking to your neighbors.
Yes.
And not demonizing them because they have a different point of view.
Exactly.
Social media has played a big role, I think, in that as well, because people have withdrawn, they've taken to their keyboards, and they become braver when they
become something.
Yeah. Say things that maybe they might not say to you in person. Yeah. One of the other issues I wanted to get your thoughts on, Medicine Exhibition Stampede has been asking the city repeatedly for help in their facilities. Mm-hmm. Where would you be in that?
Well, I'll tell you straight up. When that council meeting happened, I made a post because at first I was saying, you know what, this is a part of our heritage. We need to build on it. I want to see the grandstand get improved. But out of all the things I've been talking about, that is easily the thing I've had the most pushback, like whether it was online or in person. So this is the thing that I've realized going through it. Right now, it's not what the community wants. And it comes back to the niceties things. Mm-hmm. I would love it. I actually was talking to one guy, and he was pitching the idea to me that we actually move the grandstand to near the Canalta Center, and we have everything kind of in one spot. And then you could use that land to develop single-family homes, multifamily homes, where the Stampede Grounds is right now. I actually thought that was a nice idea, but that's one thing I learned from the community is it's not what they want right now. As much as I think it's important to our cultural heritage, it's not what's being asked for, so it'll have to wait.
Needs versus wants.
Yes, exactly.
That's exactly what we've heard at the forums. It's it's nice to have, but I need to have food on my plate today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Leadership. You seem to be a person who isn't afraid to take the bull by the horns.
Yes, I would say that about myself as well.
How did you develop your leadership skills?
Lots of years of doing my best in the community and standing up for what I thought is right. Really. In sports, I think it's really important for people to be part of sports, but when you're a kid, it's an easy way to learn how to lead a group of people is from the encouragement of a coach. And I was always captain, assistant captain, whatever team I was on. So from childhood, let's say it started there. And me and my dad, we had lots of conversations about philosophy and the human condition and politics. So I've always had a stance. And I believe in what I believe. And if someone can come and sway my mind, they sure can. But it's just something that's natural for me. If I see something, I'm going to go for it. And if I believe something's right, I'm going to go for it. And that's, I think, a big part of being a leader. And also it's the communication with your group, because you're just bullheaded if you're by yourself. But when you have a group of people that are talking to you and saying, hey, this is what we need done, this is where we need to go, and we just need you to be the arrowhead here. It's not a big ask for me. It comes pretty naturally.
Part of, for me, being a leader is being able to listen.
I agree.
Very, very important skill. And if you're going to be a city councillor, you have to be able to listen to all the other different voices. And are you a consensus builder?
Yes, absolutely. Collaborative building. Because I think that's the most crucial part of what we're missing on council right now. Is, like I said with the Stampede Grounds, right? Like I had my own opinion about it, but then everybody let me know what the real situation was from their end. And that's how you actually be a strong leader. You, like you said, you're listening to the group of people, you're getting all the facts, you're getting both sides, and then you make the decision that's ultimately the best for the group.
I'm wondering how some of the seniors are reacting to your youth and your youthful exuberance and your passion. Are they saying, yeah, go for it? Or are they saying, you're too young, you haven't lived enough yet?
I haven't heard a single person say I was too young. And part of the reality is, I have really good, strong relationships with my grandparents. So I understand the conversation with seniors as well. And I think seniors want to see the young people come in and take a stance, because they need strong voices too. And we're talking about affordability for young families.
Seniors do.
You have to remember that seniors are living on a fixed income and they don't have very much wiggle room. So these are the same people that I'm standing up for.
Yeah, well, I'm not on a fixed income. I'm on a broken income. I think a lot of people are in that spot right now. Yeah. On October the 20th, I have 8 choices to make. It's the most valuable piece of currency that I have over the next 4 years. Mm-hmm. Why should I use one of them for Christein Ellis?
Because I'm going to be a strong voice in the future. Even if I don't get on council this year, I'm not going to quit. I want to see this community thrive. I'm going to push for it. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to be readily available, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to have the courage to stand up for everybody in this community as well. And my ego does not guide my decisions. It's the health of my community is my biggest concern. And whatever is necessary to assure that health is nurtured and healed are going to be the actions I take.
A heart for the hat.
Exactly.
Christein Ellis, candidate for Medicine Hat City Council, October 20th. Thank you for your visit.
Thank you, sir.